Hybrid cars have been around for over 25 years now. The Toyota Prius came out just at the end of the 1990s. They save fuel, they cut emissions, and more manufacturers are moving toward hybrids, whether it is a plug-in hybrid or the conventional self-charging hybrid. But there is a big problem, and a big problem with more recent modern hybrids, because manufacturers have, in my opinion, cut corners, and it's leaving a lot of drivers stranded. In fact, the last time I did a video about the 12-volt battery issues on hybrids, we got thousands and thousands of people viewing the video, commenting on it, and I got lots of emails and questions. I just want to clarify a few points and a few questions that have been raised and suggest ways that we can protect our 12-volt battery in a hybrid. We're going to discuss as well why certain driving styles make the 12-volt battery problem even more, and just really get to the bottom of the fact that many 12-volt hybrid batteries are dying, leaving owners stranded, particularly after they've left their car at an airport, for example, for a couple of weeks. Unlike conventional engine cars, hybrids don't have typically an alternator and a starter motor. They have a large drive motor which performs the function of energy recovery and also starting the engine. This means that in a typical hybrid you have a 12-volt battery system that controls all of the electronics. Now think about what that's doing. It's monitoring for keyless entry systems. It's supplying power to all of the onboard computer systems and communication systems, allowing the car to stay up to date, allowing remote control access to the car if your manufacturer supplies that, and also just keeping the alarm and the immobilizer and all of the car's security running. You've got this constant background data running to update the satellite navigation or the entertainment system as well. But because this 12-volt battery is no longer driving a starter motor, manufacturers have cut back. They fit very small capacity batteries, in some cases as low as 35 amp hours. In my opinion, that is too small for most drivers. You need a bigger capacity battery. Now imagine you had a bank account and you just kept taking out more money than you were putting in. Very quickly you're going to end up overdrawn, and that is exactly what happens with a 12-volt battery. Every time we get in the car, it's recovering some of the energy. As you drive around, it tops up the 12-volt battery. The problem is though that often the drain from the battery while the car is parked is greater than the charge that goes back into the battery when we're driving. In fact, if your journey is under 20 minutes, in most cases that is not enough to recharge the battery for what the 12-volt battery drain was while the car was parked up and stationary, particularly if it's been left stationary for a week or two. And when this battery is running low, it degrades more quickly, and these batteries are dying at an alarming rate. Some people might say this doesn't apply to Toyotas. I've had my Toyota Prius for 25 years and it's still on the original battery. Well, no one's actually claimed that. Generally these batteries last 7 to 10 years. But even modern Toyota and Lexus models are suffering from this problem. There seems to be a time period round about 2018, 2019 to about 2023, 2024 when owners are really experiencing big problems with 12-volt battery depletion. Often the car is left on the forecourt at the dealers and the battery just runs down and it's never really fully topped up. So when you buy the car, it's got a very depleted battery that doesn't have that much energy or capacity in it because it has been discharged for so long. They also switch from AGM, the advanced glass mat technology, to cheaper technology, which again doesn't last as long, and in my opinion it's not as reliable as the older technologies that were used. In fact, if you have a modern hybrid, the general consensus is you need to drive for 20 to 40 minutes regularly and at least 2 hours of driving every week. If you're not doing that, you're not topping up the 12-volt battery enough. The drain periods are going to be greater than any recharge period. So what can we do as a driver of a hybrid car? If that is our driving style, we don't do that many miles. Firstly, just to avoid the problem of non-start, you can get a jump pack. These are quite small, high-capacity battery systems that you can just leave in your glove box, and that'll give you an opportunity to jump start the car. If you call out a recovery service, all they're going to do is jump start the car. They're not necessarily going to fix the battery or replace the battery at the side of the road. They'll jump start you, get you going, and encourage you to drive for a long period of time to get enough charge back into the 12-volt battery. But often, because the battery is degraded and it's been depleted for a while, or it's had repeated depletions, it's never going to charge up that well, and you're going to be running with a battery that has got a very limited capacity. It's like having a restricted bank account. You're very near your overdraft limit to start with, and it's only going to take a matter of time before we exceed the battery capacity. Now, for other drivers, they're suggesting trickle chargers. Now, you can get little solar panels that plug into the OBD2 port or to the terminals inside the engine bay to top up the battery, and these in the main seem to be getting pretty good feedback from our viewers and our readers. It'll certainly be worth looking into getting one of these small top-up chargers, and it just keeps that trickle of charge going back into the battery, and hopefully it's going to be slightly more than the battery is giving out to run all of these ancillary systems. But even if it's not, it's giving you a bit more of a buffer each time you get into the car. And other drivers are actually leaving the car on a trickle charger at home if they've got a garage particularly. The thing is that in most hybrids, the 12-volt battery is hidden. It's often under a panel, tucked away, and you can't get to it in the conventional sense of a normal battery where you could just connect to the plus and minus terminals. What you need to do is just consult your instruction manual. Most drivers don't do this, and they get caught out and they haven't got a clue where to go to jump start it or to connect a charger. There are typically 2 points in the engine bay that will allow you to charge. Some cars have a terminal inside the car, and in some cars it's in the back somewhere or even under a car seat. But do your research. In my A3, for example, and with most cars, negative, you can just connect to any point of the car's bodywork. The car's bodywork is effectively your negative terminal. You've then just got to find the positive terminal. But in my car, the negative terminal is quite neatly poking up here, and the positive terminal is just in the fuse box, this little spur that goes up in the fuse box, and that would be the positive terminal. The other thing that I would strongly recommend is upgrading the battery. If you get an AGM battery of the equivalent amp hour capacity of the manufacturer, it's going to be better, it's going to last longer, but hopefully you can do better. If the manufacturer supplied a 35 amp hour battery, you can generally get a 45 amp hour battery, and it just increases that buffer that the battery supplies, giving you a better chance of being able to start the car. Some people have raised questions as to whether this affects the warranty of the car because you're replacing it with a non-standard part, and it just seems ludicrous that manufacturers are willing under warranty to keep replacing a 12-volt battery with one that is going to require replacement again within a year or two's time. I guess they just want to limp it out of the manufacturer's warranty period so the owner can then make a decision and actually put something in that is not going to let them down. But personally, I would just avoid the inconvenience. If you had a serious problem with the car and you needed warranty work, just keep the old battery and pop it on there, take it to the dealers, let them play with it. But do have a word with your dealer, consult your warranty documentation carefully. In most cases, manufacturers will allow you to use OEM or equivalent replacement options, and they even do this themselves because parts are relatively hard to source in some cases nowadays. There are some security concerns. People need really to leave their car in ready mode, that's with the ignition switched on, and at that point the car is going to take current from the drive battery and dump that into the 12-volt battery. I really don't understand why manufacturers do not have a system automatically to just create a buffer between the high voltage battery and the 12-volt battery. And judging from comments that people have left, there is something in legislation that prevents this from happening because it reduces the efficiency of the hybrid because you are potentially draining the battery. But just think about the inconvenience of getting a recovery truck out to jump start you, the inconvenience and the hassle that is going to be to replace a 12-volt battery every 2 or 3 years. Please let me know in the comments what your experiences have been with 12-volt batteries. It'd be particularly useful to try and isolate the problem years for certain models and whether this is a specific manufacturer issue or whether it is a wider industry-wide problem. And on the last video, people have even left comments that in electric vehicles they are having similar 12-volt battery problems, and the solutions for those are very similar to the solutions we've suggested here with the solar charger or the trickle charge option, and certainly leaving the car in ready mode if you're only using it very infrequently. If you are going to the airport, you are going to leave the car for a week or two, make sure that 12-volt battery is as topped up as it's possible to have it before you leave the car, and that'll give you the best chance of being able to start it. But as we've already said, having that jump starter booster in the glove box will give you an opportunity to just jump the car and get home without having to wait around for recovery. If hybrids are your thing, then things have changed with regard to eco driving, and you'll find this video very useful, where we speak about regenerative braking and how to get the best from your regenerative braking system. I've also lined up this playlist. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so, because that helps us to get out there, and we really appreciate it when you boot that like button. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.